It's a long way down from the top of the mountains.
Koibe o korfabe loma utulu ba yuwo.
Out of Date says there'll be consequences of the war, but there are more pressing matters at hand.
Ya yumawa.
The last World Eater has been left undisturbed with the tree while you focused on the war.
Mao toliawahu lua tolu tum.
He thought someone with your light perspective and key would have had different priorities and faced the World Eaters before resolving the tribe war.
Lua tolu tum. Befarbihita hun tukub kirko.
Regardless, Out of Date is grateful the tribe war is over.
Lotu lu bayo.
Out of Date understands the road has been rough, but you already know what's left to end this journey, and it'll be tough.
Loma toaha. Far kobemako to far titaba.
You're the only one that's strong enough to face the last World Eater.
Tuloya. Voto lula.
The future depends on someone with a light perspective to give the world a chance to survive.
Momombusu?
Only time will tell what the future holds, and if it will bring a lasting peace for those that make it to the end.
Taimis.
Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet.
Momombusu? Kutuvun poputowe.
He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest. He's unsure about your intentions, but hopes you'll support Wiz.
Yeah, move forbo. Boom.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Wiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next.
Bubuko von Vunvun. Evunkoto buvum.
Out of Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest World Eater is stepping up its activity.
Valu alo hero.
He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He's happy to help. He says you really need to go see Wiz as soon as possible. He guesses you're back for more. Happy you know Goop. He put the goo glide on the surf, you know.
Tamuk gabamuktab.
Hopes to see you again soon.
Yalawawatnawa.
He guesses you're back for more.
Tolovoya lo yalobatoloyo.
He says you really need to go see Wiz as soon as possible.
Hikobe. Hifar hikobo farmo.
He guesses you're back for more.
Kujai. Hifar befarbe.
Says you should take it easy. So different from the surface down here. Stand against that. Nothing's more important right now than this. There's some plasty plants up ahead. Old brick-bracks like that, sometimes still full of good things. That's too bad. This won't be a field trip. It's the real thing. That's a good sign. Small's Mart is a favorite thingamajig broker. You've discovered Fanaki leaves, the densest jungle in the land. Better get hacking. Well, that brick-brack looks almost intact. Worth checking out? Time to ride. That's a chug hut. Probably no chug-chugs in it, but you never know. Good to be able to get stuff done while the world is awake. Rubber scrap is too much fun. So stretchy. You need to believe how serious this is if you want to have any effect on it. You found the Moly Hole outpost, an old CHU tribe hole in the wall. hard to spot enemies here. Nice. Some barked wood scrap for you. Hey, you could probably make something glossy with plastic scrap. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The thicker the surf became with goo, the more the machinery clogged up and stopped working. Like most things from the bygone. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. We all share the same destiny, destruction or survival. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. It was a tragedy, but also sad that you chose to leave. It's a miracle you made it on the outside on your own. That land is harsh, they say. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay.
Bam! The dark wins again. Right? Right?
That's right! Think! The right thing is right there!
Oh, shut that light off, would you?
Makes me feel brighter by the second.
Don't doubt yourself. That's what light is for.
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself.
kan patuta menya vea.
Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent.
Non antika urvaya unara.
Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning.
Kepi?
Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem.
Velir nila chale.
Thinks that kind of diversity brings strength. But that's not nearly as important as this.
Kaltenten rico iniameri. Vakantalo ulatu.
Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff.
Potirakom mek kaltenten rico iniameri.
This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go in.
Intonanko terium potirakom urval.
He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister.
Nan uyom cheva.
Getting that tool will help turn around the situation for sure. It'll definitely help him unshut the hatch. Growl it into a higher gear. That's not going to heal well. Impressed you found that, despite all the goo. This place has held power for a long time. In many ways, it still does. That would require cleaning up all the goo. Glad you found that track. There's a lot to learn about this world, both here and beyond. Don't push yourself too hard around here. It can be rough. Bang Shelter 11E. Just the place to ride. It's a cold zone. Even a thick coat of fur is enough to keep you warm here. Ah, some wood scrap. Always happy to find that. An old home. Could be something good. Smashing. Blitz. Right where it counts. No time to graze, let's go. That's the hut. Wonder if there's anything still inside. Sparked. Youch! Stay on top. Wiser than ever. There are places up ahead far worse than this. E-waste, the stuff you need. Crunch. It's starting to add up. Now that's medicine. Hey, nice shot. Out of juice. The plants are so thick you can barely move. You found a bric-a-brac that's not absolutely flat. And down. Have you ever seen so much green? That feels better. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. Nothing simple. It's locked. Couldn't just be open, eh? Just a few moves left. Make them count. Sure is dark out. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Oh, that's rare. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's too much distress. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. A paused place. Probably cleaned out, but you never know. Sure useful. How far does this underplace go on?
kotiatarnilla on.
He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something.
Katrina Chala.
He agrees that it's an option if you want to break stuff, but in this case you want to keep things intact so it won't leak once you get undersurf.
Dinang velaj.
He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out.
Gamuka. Katrina Chala. Palanarakal iran vanar.
He knows his old friend CHU always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow.
Oto emaram altli corrado.
He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The merc puff is crunching bark by the minute.
Darium avar ilando viet nan pakalani pala.
Wants you to think of it as a black tar spritzer. The dead zone is full of that slimy black goo. It's good for fuel, but it's also slippy stuff. Even here, the night still ends. Looks valuable. You found Snodesburg. Such a neat village. You seem to have made a new friend. Someone would probably make good use of that plastic scrap over there. Well, looky there. A broke-down hole. Might still be worth poking around. Lightning up. Running low. Refreshing. This one seems to be in good spirits despite being left here for dead.
Cherry la fia.
Has heard that you have...
Badayan analove. Tudu baba.
Asks you to do the right thing for the sake of your conscience.
Badayan analove.
Now you're getting into the dark groove.
See? There's always time to turn back to the light.
Oh, and you're doing so well.
If by well, you mean...
The dark always wins in the end.
You need to get the keys in sequence. Just a few moves left. Make them count. So, the technology from yesterday's is still here today, even if its message is getting old. Ooh-wee, that's biohazard. Don't be feary. It probably won't bite. Check out that plastic scrap over there. That's Punchy's place up in that little blimp. No better upgrade bench around.
Ane fasu feritane.
Says you'll get a special price and a wrap-up on the double.
Tubiserejene sig.
Hopes you're selling too. They're always looking to replenish their store. You've reached the end of the line. Bet you can find CHU here. Best part of this ride is it runs on green stuff.
Pasado conto pa.
CHU knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Says the name is CHU, and he likes to ride the rails. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Thinks everyone has. No one's perfect every time. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is CHU. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Figures that's true, but they can get you close enough to most things for most reasons. You can stumble along from there. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugga-chugga out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy you're here to do it for him.
No kasabatay.
Says there's nothing to it. Just don't let the chugger chug you down.
Getting darker around here by the minute.
The darker it gets, the easier it is to see the light.
Who wants the light? The world is ugly as it is.
Ugly is in the eye of, well, you.
You've always got to make it personal, don't you?
You need to swivel the globus's bearings to get the atlas mapper to work. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Gah, that's just awful. Watch your step around here. Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Wired up and ready to go. You look good in that. Might keep you dry at least. Stories only survive if someone is listening, so pay attention. Let's see.